Welcome back on the AM show as we talk the 73rd Annual New Year School of the University of Ghana, and the theme, COVID-19 and Socioeconomic Dynamics in Ghana. It's a week-long activity starting from today till Friday. We have Jack Andrews Doche, Chair of the Technical Committee, Annual New Year School. We also have Dr. Amma Edumafo, Co-Director of the Annual New Year School. And I hear Mr. Doche will soon be doctor. So, Marvin, thank you so much for joining the conversation this week.
Thank you for having us.
This topic, let me start with you, Doc. COVID-19 and socioeconomic dynamics in Ghana. Of course, we are still in the throes of COVID-19. But why this topic for the year? I mean, usually you have quite a, but this year you've decided to go COVID-19.
Yes.
What informed this?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. And actually, we have all experienced and witnessed the ravaging effects of COVID-19. Countries have not been spared. The continents have not been spared. The world entirely has not been spared. Within our Ghanaian economy, within our Ghanaian sector, the agricultural sector has been under stress. The health sector has been under duress. The educational sector has not been spared. COVID-19 has actually exposed the inequalities within our educational system. Right. When you come into the trade and industry, you realize that over the last year, in fact, when the COVID-19 pandemic set in, it was estimated that within the first 3 months, 42,000 people lost their jobs. And that's a real stress and duress on the system. Within the financial sector, you also realize that a lot has gone on, and people have lost their jobs, businesses have gone down. And so this kind of set the tone for us to begin to reconsider, to review, to analyze, and to discuss and deliberate on what exactly has transpired as at when the COVID set in up until this time. We want to know what the challenges have been. We want to be able to come up with recommendations and propositions that we can actually forward to government that will help them to shape their policies and shape their guide them to be able to come up with very good measures and interventions for the country. So the whole idea for this COVID-19 topic is to help us to re-strategize and to create our economy, revitalize it and reposition it for economic growth. That's,
right. So this in a way is also to shape policy.
To shape policy.
Moving into 2022.
Exactly. Yes. In fact, that is the key and central purpose of the Annual New Year School.
Right.
To bring together experts from various fields and sphere of life to deliberate on critical national issues, with the goal of coming up with strategic proposals that will shape government policy, legislation, and programs so as to drive the national development agenda. To add to what Doctor had just said, you would also understand that the main industry that has been affected by the COVID is the tourism sector.
Right.
Livelihood had been lost, lives have been lost. These undoubtedly had a negative impact on resources or tax generation for national development. It is therefore imperative that we rethink and re-look at the way forward.
Right.
How to prepare ourselves, position this nation from the health sector to the agricultural sector, so that in the next century, if there happens to be such a pandemic,
practically every century we have something.
That has been the trend. So we should be ready. We should lay a sound foundation for the next generation to be empowered, to be prepared to deal swiftly with such a ravaging effect which had not spared any economy. And so that's what we're trying to look at.
Right.
We provide opportunity for all Ghanaians to have a say, to come to the table to dialogue. Civil society, traditional leaders, business leaders, political leaders, religious leaders, the world of academia, to interrogate the issues, to go behind the issues, practical issues. So all over the country, participants will be coming, ordinary Ghanaians.
So I was just about to get into the opening ceremony is tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, right.
The CD Center at the university.
No, at the Great Hall.
At the Great Hall.
Yeah.
Who are some of those you've invited to come in? The speakers you were talking about. Can you mention some of them?
Yes, we have as a guest speaker the country director for World Bank, Mr. Pierre Frank Laporte, who is an astute economist, who had diverse experience from other jurisdictions of economic management, to share his thoughts on what is working in other economies and that Ghana can pick some lessons from. Then for the first time, we have Dr. Juliet Twackley, who is a physician leader with several years of international leadership in policy direction, to also come and share her perspective from the medical perspective, because this COVID had the impact on the economy and social life. And so these are the two key speakers who set the tone for the discussion. Of course, the President of the Republic is going to open the school. And
that's the big one, isn't it?
That's a big one. and the Minister of Finance, Mr. Ken Oforiatta, who each year the school looks out for a partner institution to work with. So for this year, we're working with the Minister of Finance, and we are looking at the Ghana Care Obatapa program, which was initiated as a result or in response to the COVID. And so the investors think that...
So you're going to find that nexus, and address it from the standpoint of COVID-19 and its socioeconomic impact.
Exactly.
Right. Let me come to you, Doc. So the main school and conference, and my apologies, I mentioned...
that's fine.
So the first one is the Great Hall, but the main school and conference is what is happening at the CD Center. Tell us about what we can expect.
Okay, so at the CD Conference Center, we're going to have 7 different panel discussions. And these panel discussions are based on themes that have been carved out of the major theme, that is COVID-19 and socioeconomic dynamics. So we have in the area of agriculture, we're going to look at a theme like agriculture, greening Ghana for food and jobs in the pandemic and beyond. We're also going to look at consolidating the gains of COVID in education. We'll be looking at global peace and security. We'll be looking at the private sector in terms of them being the engine of growth. We'll be looking at local and national governments paving the way for sustainable communities. We'll be looking at the youth as well. So there are...
And I was about to get to the youth school.
Exactly.
Would go into that component. So you go ahead.
Yes. So then for those, for the 7 themes that we have carved out, we have several speakers who have varied expertise from diverse backgrounds, industry and academia as well. And so we have for the agric sector, for the agric area, we're looking at the Minister for Food and Agriculture, Honorable Owusu Ifeyi-Akoto, and he'll be supported by some of our able professors at the university, the Dean of the Faculty of Agriculture. In the area of education, we have the Vice Chancellor of University of Ghana, our very first Lady Vice Chancellor, Professor Nana Abba Amfo. She would be there. We would have the Pro-Vice Chancellor of the KNUST. We would also have the Pro-Vice Chancellor of UPSA, that is the University of Professional Studies.
The Vice Chancellor.
The Vice Chancellor.
This is going to be huge.
Oh, no.
Yes.
And
you have Mr. President, you have the Finance Minister, you have these Vice Chancellors and all of that. This is big.
Exactly. We also have Patrick Ewua of Ashesi University.
Oh, Ashesi University.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So it's a blend of expertise with varied and diverse perspectives.
The academics are coming to town.
It promises to be very exciting.
It's bringing the gown to the streets.
Bringing the gown to the streets, you know.
Anyway.
And then if I should move on to the youth program, Jack would add on, what we are trying to do is to empower the next generation of youth with leadership skills and entrepreneurial skills so that they can transform the country and the continent as a whole. And so we'll be looking at topics like entrepreneurship, mentorship. We're looking at the youth volunteering as a means of developing their leadership personalities and leadership traits. We'll be giving them a lot of leadership principles that would enable them transform their various communities and various corners. And so we have, again, the Honorable Minister Kenneth Oriata, who will be spearheading that session alongside other very interesting speakers. And so
just a quick one. Sometimes we say youth, and do we have any youth speakers? Maybe some figure who has done something and will also be sharing thoughts there. Okay. If not, maybe that's something we should consider for the next time.
Yes. So we have a couple of youth speakers. We have the president of GRASAC, who is a lady who will be at this function to contribute when we're looking at mentorship. We're looking at graduates from SHS to the university and young adults who have left the university. We're also looking at a diverse composition of the platform for the youth discussion. Okay. The goal, as Dr. has said, is to empower the next generation. Okay. The University of Ghana is of the view that the future, which has been the mission of the university, to develop the human capital capable of addressing our national needs. So bringing the youth into the youth school alongside the main school is begin to open the doors of opportunities for the youth to see themselves as owners who should be part of the national development agenda.
Okay.
So developing their capacity in leadership, in entrepreneurship, would enable us in the next century have a capable set of minds who would drive an economy that is private-led, private-oriented.
And that's what we'd love to do. But right before, this is the final bit, I'll give it to you, Doc. I know the event will be live streamed. For those who want to catch up with the event, how do they do so?
Okay, so it will be live streamed, first of all, and then it will also be accessible on any of our social media handles, Facebook and YouTube. You can also log on to the University of Ghana website, and then you will have access directly to the program. And so basically you can actually just walk in. The New Year's School and Annual Conference is for every Ghanaian, every citizen of Ghana from every corner of this country. Just walk in and feel free, take part in the deliberations, take part in the discussions, take part in the decision making, and take part in taking our nation forward.
Thank you so much. So it's all about the 73rd Annual New Year School and Conference. We were joined by Mr. Jack Andrews Doche, who is chair of the Technical Committee of the Annual New Year School, together with Dr. Ama Eduma for co-director, Annual New Year School. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
We'll be right back, and after the break, there's more right before we draw the curtains on the AM show. Do stay.